This guy's face would sell a lot of coffee. And we're starting! Okay, so these two pieces right here are gonna be the base of the mask. And it's gonna be 6 inches going this way and 4 inches going that way. And for this triangle piece, this is gonna be 1.5 inches, and these two other pieces are gonna be 1.75 inches. I want this thing to be sturdy, so I'm gonna make it out of 5mm foam. To cut it, I'll be using an X-Acto knife, but you could use a box cutter, or if you have a death wish, you can use a razor. Now all these lines are going to be cut in a straight angle, except for this piece. This is going to be cut at an angle. And I try to cut these as straight as I could, and then right here, here's the angle piece. But then you're going to do the little triangle piece. And the way you're going to cut this is this piece right here, you're going to cut straight, and these two other pieces you're going to cut at an angle. Once you've done both sides, you can glue them together. And I'm using contact cement. And just to be clear, you're only gluing here, here, and here. And slowly and carefully put this together, that way you don't mess up and have to start over and just get, your spirit crushed because you got to start over, and then you just lag, and then you don't do it for a while, because that's what I did. Okay, so if you've made it this far, congratulations, you finished the base. That's like 25% of the project. Just make sure to go back and check your angles so you know for sure it doesn't look like crap. To make these zigzag lines on his mouth hole or whatever that is, you're gonna slightly cut into the foam, like this much. Like let's say this is your blade, this is your foam, you're cutting this much. And you're just doing it to the front of the mask and the little triangle part to where it looks like this. And now all the details on the mask. Okay, so this is the first piece and you're gonna make it out of 3mm foam. And this is what it looks like proportioned to the base of the mask. Here's the other stencil. This one you're gonna cut out of 2mm foam. And this piece will be above that last piece. I highly recommend using a Sharpie and marking everywhere you're gonna glue. That way you're not just adding excess glue everywhere. This piece is also gonna be made out of 2mm foam, and it's gonna go above this piece. And this tiny piece is gonna go ahead of this thing, and it's gonna be made out of 2mm foam. This mini version of this bigger version is going to be made out of 2mm foam, but if you really want it to stick out, you can make it out of 3mm foam. Out of 2mm foam, you're going to make 8 of these rectangle shaped things, and this is the size of it, and there's going to be 3 more right here, and this piece right here is going to be made out of 3mm foam. For the little rectangle pieces, I'm going to be using super glue to glue them together instead of contact cement. You can use contact cement, but I messed up right here. I have this problem where I use way too much glue, so that's why I'm using this, so it comes out neater. Once you're done with both sides, we can start working on the jaw piece. Okay, so for the jaw piece, there's going to be 2 parts. There's this part and this part. They're both going to be made out of 5mm foam. And you can use different sizing on the foam, but I just wanted it to really pop out. And the best tip I can give for fitting in this piece is I just kept cutting it and then put it in there, seeing if it fit right. Once you have the fitting for the first piece, the second piece is really easy. Also, I forgot to mention that I beveled the parts that meet together. Well, you can see right there. Also, chill out while gluing. I know you don't want to mess up, but you don't want to be so stressed that every time you glue, it's like this. So just chill, dude. Like I know I said earlier, I don't want to start over, but you can start over. It's fine. If you have any excess where the points meet, you can just sand that off. I'm using a Dremel to sand it off. Real quick, I forgot to talk about the nose pieces. So here's the first piece of the nose piece, and it's going to go in like this. Here's the other piece that's going to go on top of that, and it's going to look like this. When you cut them out, you're going to bevel these ends right here, and they're going to be made out of 5mm foam. Make sure to mark your lines, that way you don't mess up that crisscross pattern. If you didn't do it right and you messed up and it's uneven like it is right here, don't worry about it because the other pieces are going to cover it, so you're fine. Now you're going to get this piece and put it over the other piece and trace it so it looks something like this. You're also going to do the same thing with the upper piece. You're going to get this piece and then you're going to put it over this piece and you're going to trace it. That's why it looks like this right here, these lines, that's what that is. And the reason I don't have that footage is because I forgot to hit record. So as a sorry, you get 1 insult. You are a stupid cow! Okay, we're squaresies. So here's the pieces and here's where I did the bevel for those pieces. And here's where those top pieces are gonna go. Here's the piece, and here's the same thing but for the other side. And I'm not gonna put arrows, but you know where the bevels are. You're gonna assemble these in the reverse order that you did the bottom pieces. First, you're gonna glue the beveled parts together, and then you're gonna put the whole thing on there one side at a time. And you're done. You're done with the mask part. Congrats. See, even that part, if you fucked it up too, doesn't matter because you can just cover it up.
Ain't nothing to me, ese.
I'm using a heat gun to seal the foam. For the earpiece, this is the stencil for the bottom piece, and this is the stencil for the top piece, and this is the little knob thing. I'm cutting both pieces out of 5mm foam. And for this top piece, you're gonna cut all this at an angle. So when you layer them, it'll look like this. Now, if you like gluing, congratulations, because you got a big fat sack of gluing waiting for you. Just don't glue these parts right here on the bottom pieces, or else it's gonna show up right here. So you don't want that. Now you're just gonna squeeze this all together so it's as together as it can be. Now, if they look like this when you put them together, then you're fucked up, right? You dropped the ball. But that's okay, because I'm right there with you, just dropping balls. Seriously though, we gotta fix this though. And I just said though twice. All right, cool. You're gonna use a Dremel and you're gonna sand this down so it's all evened out. And then you're also gonna sand down that bevel because chances are you messed up on the bevel too. I mean, I did. To sand through a lot of foam really quickly, I use this bit. And then to smooth it out, I use this bit. Now the knobs, the thing that tricks people into going, oh my god, it's Bakugo, but it's not Bakugo. The knobs are going to be made out of two pieces, so this is 5mm and this is 2mm. And then you glue them together so they get real big. Well, not real big, but they get bigger. Make sure to have a firm grip on this because... Good. Okay, so I'm not going to glue the knobs to these pieces yet. I'm going to paint them first. First, I'm going to seal the foam. Be careful with these little pieces because the heat gun is really hot. And then you're going to do the same thing to the earpieces. I use painter's tape to cover this part, so when I paint it, it stays black. You're also going to be putting painter's tape on the side of the mask. And then you're going to coat everything with Plastidip, which is like liquid plastic. And oh, fuck. Okay, I forgot about the little teeth thing that go here. Okay, so here's the sizing and positioning of those teeth pieces. Here's a closer look. This is going to be for the top piece, and this is going to be for the bottom piece. And these are going to be cut out of 2mm foam. Here's a full frontal shot of this. Look at that crooked ass line. Now we're going back to Plastidip. Let's just pretend that those teeth pieces are on there. So you're going to coat everything with Plastidip. Now, do you have to do that? No, you don't. But it's supposed to make it look better. That's what everybody says. It makes it look more like not foam. But that's after you've done like several layers. After that's dried, I paint it with white spray paint. And the reason I painted it white is because I saw this picture and my eyes were like, oh yeah, dude, don't think about it. That's white. That's clearly white. And so we have white. Creamy white. Okay, now back to the knobs. If yours look like this, dude, just leave them like that. They look like knobs. Look good. I went ahead and tried to do little details on them, and they ended up looking like weird looking molars. Should have just left them alone. But if you feel like you could totally, you know, spice it up and add some details, go ahead. Hi! When painting small prop materials, has this ever happened to you? Well, that's a thing of the past now with foam and needles. Just get yourself some scrap foam, some needles, and voila, bitch, you got yourself a mini prop holder. Now that you're done painting, we're going to glue the earpiece to the mask. So first line them up and see where they're going to go. Don't just start gluing everywhere. Now that you're done with that, we're going to do the knobs. All you're going to need is a drop of super glue. That's it. And just put it on there. And with super glue, you get a little leeway. So you have about like 5 seconds or so to reposition if you have to. Okay, so good news and bad news. Good news, that's it for the build of the mask. Bad news, I don't have any elastic band or clip. So I'm just going to use the footage from the Deku video on how I did that. As you can see here, I pulled the mask, marked a line, got the elastic band, I measure it, and then I just cut it to a certain length. And that's it. You know, you just glue them on there with a hot glue gun. You wait for the hot glue to, you know, cool off. Then you just use this clip. You just fucking put it on there, and that's it. You're done. Like, for real, that's it.